Super Rugby, the two games on Sunday. We do get that Aussie win with the Brumbies taking down the Highlanders 28 points to 17. And then also the Crusaders managed to get their expected win over the Rebels 42-17. We'll go through some key events, some stats, upcoming fixtures, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on these two games from Super Round, which is now all done and dusted. The first one, like I mentioned, there's an Aussie win with the Brumbies taking down the Highlanders. Bit of a game of two halves, I thought. First half, Brumbies probably could have had a bigger lead, and second half, their defence actually did pretty well to hold because, the Highlanders came back at them pretty strong, but the Brumbies kind of had the wherewithal and the nerve to hold out under a wee bit of pressure. Tom Wright, though, man, he blew Rico Ioane style, dropping the ball over the line one-handed early on, blew a certain try because all he had to do was put it down on the ground. Too casual, drops the ball over the line. As the commentator said, that's why they teach kids to put the ball down with two hands. But yeah, there you go. Blown chance early, made up for though, because Jerome Brown gets one. He reaches out. And interestingly, it was the Brumbies not mauling it that set up that try, so 7 points to 0. We talked up the Brumbies' ability to maul before the game, so that was good to see them kind of mix it up. But their second one is a maul on 19 minutes, so they take a pretty nice lead, 14-0 the Brumbies, both from line-out sets, but one's from a maul, one's from getting the ball out and going through some phases. So a bit of mixing it up. Nick White had one chalked off, which could have been another miracle one. It could have been 3 tries, but there was a knock-on in the build-up, so none. But then right before half-time, just to put a sneaky little seed of doubt, Thomas Umanga Jensen gets one back for the Canes, and he shows some pretty good power to beat Nick White, although it's a bit of a size mismatch. 14-7, 17-7 at half-time because the Brumbies do manage to get one penalty back. So, possession's 50-50, but territory is 73-27. To the Brumbies. So, like I said, they probably could have had it a bit better from the first half, but they knocked it on 8 times to 2. So, maybe at times their own worst enemies. Second half, though, another Brumbies penalty makes it 20-7. Highlanders do go through some phases for Lynch's to go over on 49, so it's still not looking comfortable by any means for the Brumbies, eh? They certainly weren't able to put the Highlanders away at all. So, 20 points to 14 is still properly game on. It's still looking very kind of risky, but the penalty makes it a 9-point lead. Highlanders reply with another penalty. Highlanders look to have scored a try in the corner, but the TMO chalks that one off as being enough separation between the fingers and the ball to not be a try, so it's a knock on the Brumbies. If they'd conceded that one, maybe this game goes another direction, but they did manage to get some pressure down the end of the second half, and Simone manages to go over. Not Simone. Simone sets it up for Lolosio on 72 minutes, so they're kind of able to breathe a little bit at 28-17, and that's the way the game finishes. So yeah, run meters 284 to 346. That's the Brumbies having more, but the Landers more possession, 53%, and the Landers 66% territory in that second half. So if you're one of those people who paid for tickets down the wrong end, you didn't see much of the game because it was both teams with territory in the first and second half respectively, so all down the same end of the field. Basically, Brumbies tackled at 92%. They needed to because in that second half they were having to do a lot of defending. Umanga Jensen, 4 defenders beaten, 48 run meters. Pretty solid. Simone, 16 from 18 tackles. That's a pretty good shift, plus sets up a try. So happy days for the Brumbies. They are home to the Hurricanes next, which could be a really good game. And the Highlanders are off to Fiji to play the Drua. It's the only game we're having in Fiji, so I don't know if the Highlanders drew the short straw by having to play the Drua actually away from home, or they'll just be looking forward to a nice trip to Fiji. Not sure, but I'm very much looking forward to that one. Should be a cracker. The second one, Crusaders and Rebels, not that much of a cracker in the first half. Boy, was there a lot of knock-ons. Oh my goodness. You will rarely see professional rugby teams knock it on as much as you saw in the first half of that game. Goodness me, it was pretty tough. I mean, Hodgie missed a couple of penalties early. Crusaders forward pass denies a try. Tamua goes off with an HIA, which is unfortunate because he's kind of a key man, but Gordon stood up all right. They did get the first try of the game in the first half through Cullen Grace, Richie Mo'unga, who seemed to be taking the ball to the line a bit more this game, like doing his steps and whatnot. It makes you wonder whether his knees have had issues in recent weeks, but now his knees are fine, because Richie Mo'unga was loving the steps. So he set up that one. But man, just so many knock-ons. Rebels managed to hit the post with another penalty, but they do manage to kick one before halftime to make it 7-3. 7-3 at halftime is 10 points, and yet 7-6 is the knock-on count. So you've had more knock-ons than points scored in the game. So the first half was tough viewing. Crusaders have had more possession, more territory, more run meters, 423 to 112. So if the Crusaders' passes had stuck, they certainly would have put a lot more points on than 7 in that first half. Second half, they do manage to finally get some of those passes to stick. Blackadder gets an offload from Grace for his first one. Lester Whanganuku got an offload to Mo'unga, who got it to Blackadder. Actually, that was Blackadder's second one from Grace. The first one was from Mo'unga. So yeah, 14-3, 21-3, 28-3 after they had a was it Bryn Hall came on for that one? He dived over the top, so they'd gone through some phases. So 28-3, it's just looking like an absolute row. Pablo Matera was involved in a bit of everything as well. He showed some really good footballing skills for one that Mighty Williams ended up converting after they dinked it through Matera with the kicks and then pass. Mighty Williams kind of able to canter over. So it's looking like it's going to be 50, 60 points easy. But the Rebels, who've had no play in the second half, finally in the last 10 minutes managed to pull back 2 tries. One through Reece Hodge. That one was a nice little kick through. And then Matt Phillip after a bunch of phases. So, yeah, they wasn't done, though, because finally look at the last try of the game. Could have been another one if Fergus Burke hadn't kicked it dead. But, yeah, I feel like the Crusaders left a lot of points out there. As much as the Rebels, you got to give them credit for scrambling. They defended their hearts out at times. But honestly, if the Crusaders' passes stick, and you got to give credit to the Rebels for the defensive measures which make the passes not stick, but still, the Crusaders usually take a lot more of those than they did. Possessions 59-41, territories 52-48, so the Crusaders get that. Knock-ons is 10-11, so that's a lot of knock-ons, folks. Run meters 769 to 229. That's dominant. Clean breaks 12-1. Dominant. The Rebels have to make 146 tackles to 86 by the Crusaders. Crusaders could have had more tries. Lester Whanganuku, 107 run meters, 2 clean breaks, 4 defenders beaten, plus a try. Brad Wilkin, 14 from 16 tackles. Yeah. Big bonus point win for the Crusaders. Kind of as expected, but not a huge blowout, but still it's a pretty big scoreline. Could have been worse. Crusaders are away to the Tars. Rebels are home to Moana Pacifica. So we will see how the next round of games go. You guys let me know your thoughts on these two. And we'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.